All right, am I back? Excuse me. I think I'm back. I don't know what that was. All right, we're back. Sweet. I don't know what was up with that. All right, we Gucci now. uh, all right. Well, before I was so rudely interrupted by whatever that was, we're getting a really nice. I don't like when things like that start happening. We're getting a really nice move out of the Russell here. Really nice move out of the Dow. Nasdaq did come down and traded that 822, those pre-market lows, and now getting a pretty decent bounce off that. So unfortunately, that was the area in which I was kind of looking for to see if we could do something, and like legitimately right when that happened is when the stream cut off. So I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. I think we come back down and probably end up trading it again somehow. The only thing I'm not really going to love is if the Dow ends up, you know, rallying up and trading 911s before we get that to happen. No, Mike should be good. Yeah, the mic should be solid. I don't know what that was. Hmm. Right, turn your hearing up, but turn your hearing aid up. Wow, we're starting the stream off great. Thank you guys for all coming to my show today. Holy shit. It looks like it might have impacted a couple different things across the net. I've got other people that are saying they're having issues too, but huh. Surely it's not just my lucky day, right? So I don't like when that happens. So I'm gonna kind of take a little step back here and chill. I do think we probably see Nasdaq come back down through these lows here at some point. Hopefully within the next like probably 10, 15 minutes would be ideal, I think. We can see that happen. All right, Nasdaq coming down. New lows there for the Nasdaq. It's a pretty aggressive move. Like I said, I think we can probably trade down towards like 780s or so. Would be essentially where I was thinking we might have room down to. Like, yeah, we get the new low through the 822s there, and then kind of just push a little bit further. Don't you cry no more. Gold and silver here, we had rollover for them, so we'll have to switch up contracts now. I don't know that I really love where they're at though. There's a nice little pullback here in the Russell too. No triggers or anything yet. That low is 3180s. Nasdaq still getting that pullback. S&Ps are sitting on opening print now, pushing through a little bit there too. The glitch could have been a good thing. Hello. Nasdaq pushing a little bit further than I would have expected there. I guess a good avoid on our part. Maybe the Internet issues is a good thing here somehow. If you don't pass some evals, just full port them. Just full port them. That's all you got to do. Yeah, I did see AMD was gapping down pretty decent in the pre-market session, and Nvidia now. That's a pretty ugly looking move too. There's nothing to do with this right here. The only thing I can maybe say that would be remotely interesting would be trying to long the Russell, but I think we got to let that kind of work some of this bar back before we can really do anything with it. NASDAQ new lows, S&P's new lows. If we do get absolutely smacked, that'll be, which at the moment we kind of are. That'll be a little bit surprising. I don't know that I would have been fully expecting that. You know what I mean? I don't know. But that would have been in the wheelhouse. Yeah, we just really can't get too much more. We can't get too much more weakness. I mean, we're kind of already through like what would be that daily 1, 2, 3 area. You like 780s would have been perfect. You know what I mean? Like 100 points ago, that would have looked a whole lot better than it does now. You know what I mean? So, gold and silver kind of moving lower here. Meta is strong. It's actually trying to break out like right now. Kind of up through 624s here. I don't think the risk reward in there is worth it. I mean, does it have room potentially to like 630s? Sure. I just don't think that that's the, I don't think that's the move. Stand this desk up. Wrong way. It's a pretty hard move down out of Microsoft. I don't know. The idea of our turkey rally might not be the thing here. I guess at this point, if we were to take out yesterday's bar, which we're getting, I mean, 100 points away from doing so at the moment. So you could say close-ish. Does it give us room back down to 24,045s? It's like another 500 points essentially from cracking those lows from yesterday. But that's 257 points basically straight down at this point. I mean, that's the thing is we're kind of in a dangerously close territory to where like essentially anywhere down here, like if we start to really lose this any more than we already have, which is a pretty, I mean, it's a pretty straight up downtrend off the open so far, we risk kind of erasing a lot. I'm not super convinced by the action I'm seeing in like the Russell. I kind of like where the Russell's at. So I'm leaning a little bit more towards that, potentially trying to hold and do something from there. You know, Russell's going to come right back up to opening print here. There is that 24.15s just below here. We're not all that far away from it at this point. It's a pretty significant looking kind of 5-minute reversal bar there. The question becomes is, do we consider the Russell to be, I mean, do we consider this to be bottomed here? Pretty wide first little bit of range here on the day. Do we? S&P's actually held up a little bit better than the NASDAQ did. There's 100 points right back up though in the NASDAQ just now. Again, what's crazy on this whole move is ticks got to like minus 330s. So, I mean, we get a straight 270 point sell off in the NASDAQ rather aggressively if you look at a 2-minute chart, right? And then ticks are minus 230s. We're positive at the moment. We're plus 499s, plus 500 on ticks. I would be open to Russell longs. I just can't do it. I mean, that's a 15.5-minute bar just straight back to the upside. Like it needs, we got to do a little something else in here. Mm-hmm. Always on time. Russell straight rally back so far. I would be open to S&Ps if we can get back up through opening print. I just don't think we can do it like this. I think we need to pull back a little bit again one more time, not obviously get lows, and kind of just slow down this rally back just a little bit. That's my initial thinking here. Walmart's got some pretty decent strength as well here. I kept this on my list from the other day. It basically gave up all of that earnings rally, which was really surprising. And now it's trying to get up through these 105.49s here. From a swing perspective, I don't mind Walmart though. Essentially assuming that this continues the move and we don't go back under like 103s. So it's not terrible from that standpoint. Meta had the little failed breakout, kind of pulled back there, and now pushing back through highs. This isn't clean. This is not clean by any means. Russell's still trying to do the thing here. Room to 24.5290s. I would just love if you gave us a pullback though. Oh, Michael Jackson on the tunes today though. Dow's almost back up to opening print. S&Ps as well. What a freaking little mini flash crash. Slash right back up. Russell's about to make new highs on the day here. Does that send us like right back to lows for everything else? Russell new highs so far, only market to do so. S&P is approaching opening print. Dow is currently trading right at it. NASDAQ still got a little bit left to go. We're right back at this 780 area. You know, kind of coming back up towards that 822s there for NASDAQ. We're just going to have to find an aggressive entry, I think, if we want to do something. Otherwise, which at the moment, I don't necessarily know what that is, but yeah, I wish the Russell gave us something as well. That would honestly be really nice. It would have been super helpful. Considering we just rallied like 20 points back off the lows. right up through opening print, no pause, no nothing. Not a single care in the world. If we had gotten to 24.15s, that would have been even better as well, but we didn't do that. So kind of our two game plans for the day, which were potential NASDAQ longs around 820s, give or take, giving it room to maybe push to 780s if it needed to. That obviously didn't set up. Russell on a pullback to 24.15s, which probably should have happened first. That hasn't happened yet either. And then now we're just kind of like trying to figure out if it'll give us another entry, some sort of pullback here, with S&P's getting over opening print, Russell getting, or Dow getting over opening print, and then maybe NASDAQ while Russell goes to highs. So it's not like, it's not clean by any means. I venture to say a lot of people kind of got screwed on this. Like, pretty significantly, probably. The Dow's kind of pausing right here at the opening print. The 612 is that opening print there. S&P is kind of doing the same thing. I'd like to see a little bit more than just like a 2-minute test of this area. That would be ideal. Front run of 3 ticks out of the Dow. The shorts off OP and NASDAQ. I mean, it's not necessarily a terrible idea. That's a straight 100-point NASDAQ drop right back to the downside. A 122-point bar. You said quick 550, you're done. Would you scout for like 2 seconds? What a move. I'm legitimately standing with my hands in my pockets. You know, you trade calls and puts. You're going crazy. Is this a long? Dow's right back at opening print. S&P's had a 30-point sell-off, though. Even if we wanted to be long the Dow here, the stop's like 101 points. Pull back to 612s. I'm gonna have to blindly buy that and assume that we don't go back under 51s there, so it's like 60 points. Mm. No pullback on that either. Dow's erasing that prior 5-minute bar. So far, NASDAQ, S&Ps have not just yet, but it kind of looks like it wants to. Just such a wide, I mean, it's a wide range to try and even remotely think of playing it with any kind of stop that isn't the full range. Which, I don't know about you, but I'm not I'm not super keen on having a freaking whatever this is 166 point stop on the NASDAQ. Like what are we gonna do with that? I think we can wait till we get back up over the open. Which S&Ps are right back at the open now. Apparently this is back up and working. Let's see. Sweet. Russell making that push, about to get new highs here. I really want a long here. See if we get this continuation, but at the same time, like I said, I'm struggling with the idea of like a 30 point stop in the S&Ps and a 150 point stop in NASDAQ, basically. I don't think there's any reason that we have to do it here, or that we have to do anything necessarily. Ticks pushed and pulled back. And this is the exact thing that I did not want to see happen if I got long. This is a 15.2 minute range bar in the S&Ps right here. Every time I think I should probably take my hands out of my pockets and do something, I probably shouldn't. And so far, we haven't done anything because we haven't had anything to do. So there's that. The low is 703.75. I don't really love the timing of this futures roll either for the metals. We had a really like solid amount of data on those previous contracts. We did break overnight lows in silver, not in gold though. So there is that to at least be aware of. Dow's trying to come back down towards that opening print area now. 612s. That 15-minute does not look great anymore. Yeah, no, for sure. There's definitely a battle going on right here. I don't mind this like 729 area for NASDAQ. We could be a little bit aggressive here. I don't know yet. There's an insane amount of room. I'm going to try a very, very tiny piece of NASDAQ long right in this area. We might need to pop under these 703s just a little bit, but I don't think that we have to. So I'm going to try and time this to get long right off 729s here with hopefully a Dow maybe testing 612s, that kind of opening print area there. So if we can do that, which I mean I'm already in, but if we can do that, it'll look even better, which we traded 616s. Six 16s, we might need a little bit more here just yet. I want to say 729 holds us. If so, those highs are 879.50s above. We didn't crack those. No, we traded 878s. So yeah, we'll try small longs from here. Targets are going to be up there towards 879s. My brain's not working. What's the math on that? 150 points, give or take. I don't mind that. Yeah. We're small long NASDAQ here at the moment. Entry should be right around 729s. Mine's at 732s. We could play it tight. Kind of put stops right under 720s. I want to give it just a little bit of room. I don't think it needs it. Like, we really shouldn't come back down here now. 720 should be that low if we're going to rally from here. We might still need 612s out of the Dow. But overall, I think we should be fine here. And ideally, we can see this start to push back through some of this little topping tail action up here around 780s and get NASDAQ to push back up into, get new highs on the day, excuse me, which would be ideal. We did do a little kind of shimmy there on the S&Ps as well. Excuse me. So kind of like. So yeah, we'll just let this work now. see what it wants to do. Again, the next big area is going to be kind of right up there where we just pushed at 775, 780s. See if we can't kind of get through that and push, like I said, up into those highs. The Dow's kind of coming back down. Yeah, we're currently long a little bit of NASDAQ here from right down around 729s. I think this is a re-entry in the Dow, but I was kind of expecting it to trade opening print here, 612s, and then immediately start to bounce. I don't love the way that 15-minute looks, but if you want an additional long here, I think it's the Dow, assuming that we hold this pullback that we're currently trying to work into. Which is right at opening print. I wouldn't be surprised if we fail, but I kind of don't think that we will. Knock on wood. I say that, and then we come right down here. Like I said, if we do fail this, we're now kind of pressing down to those 703s. We did reject from kind of that 780 area up there, which is going to be important. We'll see how 703s reacts here. If not, we'll go ahead and look to close this. We're down about 25 points right here, so it's not crazy. It's kind of assuming this pullback had the potential, but I didn't think we needed it, so. I like this move in the Dow now, though. I think there's a nice long right here in the Dow as well. Entries up over 626s. Stops are about 60 points wide down here to 564s. Right at the opening print of 612s there. I like the Dow too. So if you want the Dow, I think there's a valid trade in there. There's kind of a weird little shimmy here in the Russell. Entries aren't quite as great, but they would essentially be here over 39.30s. The stops under 33.90s is about 5.5 points, give or take. I don't think that's bad either. I'm going to stick with the NASDAQ and a small piece of Dow here. I do think this little push down, I mean, again, the low was 703.75s for NASDAQ. We traded down here to 700.75s. We might have needed just that little extra push, which we were kind of accounting for, right? I didn't know if it would technically need it, but it, at the moment, seems like it did. So if we do fail back under that now, then obviously we'll go ahead and look to take our stop. It'll be about 30 points. And if that does happen, then we'll probably take a step aside for a bit. This is not ideal conditions. We're kind of pressing a little bit of a trade in here, but I do think the risk reward is there. I think it makes sense. And I do like the Dow. I like the Dow more than I do the NASDAQ. I just think the NASDAQ has the better risk reward ratio, but obviously it's because it's a little bit riskier. And the Dow's starting to push pretty nicely, actually. What you doing, Julian? Staying alive. You took the entry on YM. Nice. I think it's worth having long somewhere here at the moment. The longer it takes us to actually make the move, though, like the fact that it's continuing to take some time here for NASDAQ, is kind of leading me more towards the idea that we fail. And I'm halfway considering just taking it off. I don't love the little topping tail just now on the 5-minute chart and all that, but I'm just going to give it the time that it needs, I think. As Osborne would say, is don't choke it too early. Got some BGs on the tunes. All right. This is a perfect song. Staying alive. Our NASDAQ position is kind of staying alive here at the moment. If we can get this little push. Yeah, 46,911s is the target for the Dow. It might be worth taking a trim up here at like 724s. I mean, it's about 100 points, give or take, on a 60-point stop. So it's not terrible. It's like 2-1, but I think there's a lot more it can move. So I would say to just kind of let it be. If you're comfortable with it maybe coming all the way back down to 0. Staying alive, staying alive. NASDAQ coming back up to those 820 area here. 828 is this little high up here. I'd like to see us try and push through that fairly hard and not really give it too much time to do anything there. A pretty solid entry so far in the Dow. So that target is up there at 911. These highs are 755. We're pushing 752s at the moment. I have a little bit more size on in the Dow than I do in the NASDAQ. So I'm going to pull some stops up for just a piece up to 725s on that. And try and let that just, if it wants to push through, perfect. If it pushes through and fails, then I'll go ahead and look to just take some there at 725s. And then NASDAQ here, I want to see this get that nice push up through those 828s. Trying to figure out where to put a trail in this one at. Russell new highs on the day. I'm not going nowhere. Somebody help me get. That low is 804s. What did we just push there? We pushed 828s exactly. I'm going to go ahead and pull a little bit more on the Dow up to 755s, just right at those old highs. Still a good target area. I'm giving the NASDAQ a little bit of room here. Because we have the Dow working, I'm not necessarily as concerned about being super tight on the NASDAQ. Just because I would like to see this get the full push. And when I'm watching the tick chart at the moment, so we just got to pull back there to 793s, just so I can see the kind of inner pullbacks right now, as opposed to just the time is not going to give me those. Like 5-minute chart doesn't really show that at the moment. So a nice little pullback there, 793s. If we can push up through these 828s, then I think we can put stops at 790s and just let this thing rock for the day. And that'll lock in 60 points or so. And then we'll just let it, if it wants to trend all the way up into 25, 258s, we'll just let it do its thing. You know what I mean? Like that's totally fine with me. I don't even know what the math is on that at the moment. 25, 258s minus 24, 732s. It's 526 points. I'll be happy with that. Anybody else long NASDAQ or long Dow with me? Anybody else in those positions? It's first position of the day. We really didn't take any heat on the Dow trade. The Dow pretty much did exactly what it was supposed to do from the jump here. Went ahead and got a little trim off there on the Dow. We'll see where this pullback wants to go, and then we can bring some more trims up, or more trails up. But I'm happy with that first little exit there, 755s. My entries in there are 621s, right before the trigger there. Saved me like 5 points on the trigger. Nothing crazy. You're in some NASDAQ, still in some longs on Dow. Nice, sweet. We got a little pullback here going 762s for NASDAQ. We got both markets at like NASDAQ's at 774, Dow's at like 77 whatever. We're both like right at around the same numbers here. I knew that 828 would be a bit of an issue for us in NASDAQ. That's why I wanted to see us get like a hard push up through that. But this pullback right now could also be pretty decent. If we can get up through there, we'll have a stop in place at 760s, give or take. Apex pushed that back out again. 80% off, $69.40 all in for a 100K account. Crazy. Code MLT gets you that best deal. That Black Friday deal. All right, we got a pullback now in the Dow. I kind of like the way this looks. A nice little bottoming tail in place there now. That pullback ends up being at 737s. So I'm going to bring my trail stops on the Dow now. I'm going to bring those up to, I'm going to put them at 720, whatever. It just locks in 100 points on that. Kind of gives us a little bit of room down under those 737s, but we probably shouldn't need it or use it if it's going to make the move. We do have the Russell trying to push up here in the 2452.90s, which I'm kind of being aware of. Is it a reason to kind of take off and trim? Maybe. And then if we can push up through these 828s, I'm going to go ahead and put trail stops in under these 762s, which I feel like we should probably go ahead and just do anyway. um, just to be protective with it. Like it's not. Yeah, we got some profits in it, but like this thing could come all the way back to zero pretty quickly, and I don't want to have to make that decision. We could bring stops to break even. I'd also be really annoyed if I get stopped at break even and then it moves. But I'd also kind of be annoyed if I get stopped at 760s and then it makes the move. So that part tells me like I don't really want to do anything with the stops at the moment. I also don't want to give it a full stop either anymore. So it's like, what do I do? We got a little Janis Joplin on right now, a little me and Bobby McGee. It's kind of unfortunate you guys can't hear my music. Nice move in the Dow there. Nice move in the Dow. NASDAQ, do your thing. Push up through those 828s. We did push a little higher in the overnight session. 970s. So there's still some room there to go. We got another 100 points or so to go in the Dow as well. Damn, someone just tweeted it, said that Polymarket, without continued AI investments, the US GDP growth would collapse in half. Damn. Damn. I traded 5240s there so far on the Russell. Haven't quite hit those 5250s now. Haven't quite hit 5290s. That's a really unfortunate little weird sell-off rally, basically straight back. That little shimmy wasn't bad though. It was essentially the same trade we took in the Dow there. That's just gotten the targets already at this point. Risk reward wasn't the greatest. It was a little over 5 points for a 14-point target, so it wasn't terrible. But let's go NASDAQ. Do your thing. 6730s is the highs up here for S&Ps. We traded 2975s just now. Again, this time around, I would like to see NASDAQ push up through these 828s with a little bit of vengeance a little bit of power. Dow. Pushing those highs now too. There we go. There we go. Dow is coming up here into this target area. Those highs are 904 so far. And I'm out. I'm out on the Dow. Really, really nice exit there on the Dow. And then we've got a little bit more to go. 879s. NASDAQ here. Opening print is right here at 57. So I think we let it have a 57 test if it needs it. And then see if we can't get another like a tight trail up there. We traded 912s on the Dow there, so we did hit those 911s. NASDAQ did just get that little pullback. We traded 854s. So I am going to go ahead and put a trail stop in 850s and change here. That gives us about 20 points off those 879, 30 points off 879s if it does want to pull back off that. But I'd like to see it try and push through that, not need any more retest of opening print, but we're basically here-ish at the first target, 879s. We're through the targets of 5290s for the Russell, and we're right at those targets, 911s here for the Dow. So we have to be a little cautious of that. NASDAQ is the only market to not make new highs here on the day. So there is that to be aware of. Like I said, I'd like to see us just continue to push up through that. We get trailed out here at 850s, and I'm A-okay with that. And I'm out. All right. That's it. There's the day. Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. Thank you guys for tuning into the stream. And yeah. I got some hamburger meat thawing, and we're making sloppy joes for lunch. 10:48 a.m. We just caught 120 plus points out of the NASDAQ. And whatever that was in the Dow, like 200 plus points, right? Yeah, damn near almost 300 points in the Dow. Right? Am I tripping? 46,902s. My brain's not working on math this morning for some reason. 46,902s minus our entry at 46,621s. 281 points in there. Yeah. I like it. Yeah, no Whoppers today. We're not eating a Whopper today. I've had Sloppy Joe, like the mix, like the Manwich Sloppy Joe stuff. I've had the couple cans of it sitting in the bottom of the pantry for a while. And every time I see them, I'm like, man, I really would love a Sloppy Joe right about now. But we didn't have any buns. So we And we picked up some buns yesterday. What a fucking exit. Excuse my French. But damn. Damn. Goodness. What'd you do, Osborne? Oh, you passing yourself 100K? A 100K eval? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Any questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna kind of sign off. That was a beautiful display of essentially everything. Like we had some plans this morning. We had the ideas that we were looking for. Ultimately, none of those ended up setting up, so we kind of had to pull a little bit of an audible. We had to adjust for that. We were able to find, like, honestly, really, really tight entries, considering the ranges in which we had. I mean, I don't think we could get any tighter than that. We nailed the exits. There's no open orders anywhere. We're solid. That Dow trading off 911s, NASDAQ not getting those new highs. Like a pure mastery of management, I think. So, yeah. I'm happy with it. Real happy with it, actually. How was trading the day before Thanksgiving? It kind of be like today. We might get one or two things to do, and then that's going to be basically it. I would assume lower volume typically as well. Yes, that's the norm. But we don't have we don't have bad volume today. Like we're actually fairly decent. We're at 704,000 contracts already for the S&Ps. So we're fairly decent in terms of volume at the moment. So I think there's a lot of I think there's still a lot of volatility out at the moment. So I think there is still the potential that we get one or two decent trades probably tomorrow. And then obviously Thursday we're closed. Friday, I'm just gonna say it's a nothing burger day because we're closed. I think at like 1:15. I think is when futures close. I think it's not like the normal one, and then they go like I think markets close at 1, individual equities maybe, and then the futures do the normal like 15 minutes after. I think close at 1:15. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. It's just not a day that I look to do anything anyway. So, yeah, I would steer clear of that. But yeah, a solid day overall. I'll post up the top one account that I'm trading along with everything else here as well. But that account did pretty decent, $442.78 on the day. Again, that's just using 1 to 2 micro contracts here. With very limited risk. I mean, we're talking $50 to $100 worth of risk per position, and yeah. So yeah, I'm using the straight to funded. So they've got the straight to funded. They've also got the Ignite accounts, which are pretty solid at the moment as well. They're a little bit lower. They're a lot cheaper, but the risk metrics are a little bit different. So they don't quite give you the same amount of risk, but it is still a decent amount of risk for the dollar value. It's probably actually a little bit better if you're trying to trade smaller than the instant funded. Here, I'll drop the link in here for you guys. You got over the end of the day trail. Which one did you get, Joe? Did you get the 150? So, in my opinion, there's essentially two like straight to funded routes you can go. One is the instant sim funded, which also is not a bad deal at the moment. It's if you're looking at okay, you went to 150, so you got up over 4,500. Is what you're saying? So now it just becomes a static. Now it's just static back to 150, right? That's where that's where it goes, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Yeah, I'm gonna do a video sharing like the details on this account. Um, but yeah, so there's the instant sim funded, which is the one that I'm currently trading on. Um, so it's not a bad price at all. It's for the 150. It gives you a total risk drawdown of 4,500 bucks. The drawdown mode's end of day. You can trade 12 minis or 120 micros. I don't think you should trade 12 minis or 120 micros. I don't even think you should trade 10 micros realistically. Um, yeah, 150, 150, 100. Yeah. And then consistency rules 20%. So the pro is cool, but I almost think that at that point Apex is the way with price. Yeah, no, I agree. So I think, in my opinion, I think it's either instant sim funded, which is just the straight. I don't like that they say the STF sim pro. I think it's either instant sim funded. If you're going with like the 50K account, it's 289 bucks. If you're going with a 150K account, it's 399 bucks right now. The 57.5% off Black Friday is pretty decent. Code MLT gives you that as well. And then the Ignites, I actually think are pretty solid. So the Ignite, you get the 100K account for 239, which is technically cheaper than the 50K instant sim funded. You have a total max drawdown of $3,000, which is more than the 50K instant funded, right? You don't get to trade obviously the same. I mean, you get 5 minis. You only got $3,000 worth of risk to work with anyway. $2,000 on a daily loss limit. So it's, in my opinion, I still think better to go that route for 239 bucks on the Ignites. You can trade up to 6 of those. So you can copy trade 6 of those, to whereas the instant sims is only 3 accounts. And the only difference being is that the consistency is 15% as opposed to 20%. So, which I don't necessarily think that's bad either. Like I just looked at mine. My current consistency right now is 12.87%. So it's I'm under that 15% as well. If I had gone that route too. So, which isn't bad. Like, you can manage 15%. That's the one, it gives you a little bit more, it gives you 5% more wiggle room to bump up to 20%. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's the end of the world. I still think it's a better deal with a little bit more risk to go with the Ignite accounts at the moment. So, because again, you're not going to trade the full size either way. It gives you just for $50 less, it gives you more risk, is essentially what it boils down to. Is there a target needed with the instant or Ignite for payouts? Yes. So for right now, the target on, like, say, the 150, it is 159. So I think 6% is the number. Yeah, 6%. 6% being the target for the instant sim fundeds. The ignites, I think, is a little bit different, if I remember right. I don't know why they changed those, though. The ignites, I think, I think it's a 90-10 split right off the rip, though. Yeah. 5R return on investment if you buy 6 a night and get the 900 after split. Yeah. So it's 5% profit target in the ignite accounts, 6% in the instant funded. So let's say you do the 100K, you got to get it to 105. With a 15% consistency. And the daily loss limit is just a pause. So you can't actually, if you hit the daily loss limit, you don't blow your account. It's just a pause. And then it resets at the end of the day. And then the payout cap is 1,500 on the 100K. No, TopStep doesn't do codes, and I personally would not trade with TopStep anymore. I've had beef with TopStep for freaking a couple years now, and I think they just continue to do the things in which that they should not do, and like change some rules and do some different things along the way. Yeah, I think there are better. Don't get me wrong, TopStep is huge. They have capital, all of the things, right? In my personal opinion, I don't think they like to pay traders. Like I don't think that if they can find a way to get out of paying, then I think they will. So that's just my personal opinion, though. And again, I don't. The only reason TopStep got as big as they are is because they did have. This is pre everybody being in a prop firm space. Like Tradeify didn't exist, Apex didn't even exist yet. I mean, TopStep's been around since like 2013, 2011, whatever it was, right? But they essentially got big off of all of the affiliates, and these are affiliates that weren't on social media, right? Like there was some for sure, but they got big by a bunch of email marketing affiliates from back in the day. And then once they had your leads, they'd pay you for like a month or two unless you had a contract with them, and then they cut you off. So they would essentially just, and which was supposed to be a 6-month cookie, like the original, because I have an original contract with TopStep from back in like, I think it was like 2017, 2018. They were originally supposed to be 6-month and 12-month cookies, meaning that lead was good for 6 and 12 months, like whatever it was the timeline. Well, what they would do is they would run deals kind of like what everybody else does when they run promos or whatever. But what they would do is on the back end of the software, they would change it to where it was a new link, right? And that new link was linked to whatever that offer was. And then once you had promoted it, they would remove that link after a little bit of time. Well, anybody that had came through that link now wasn't being tracked in the system anymore. And they tried blaming it on, oh, well, it should still track because they're in the system. It tracks on the back end. You just can't see it, blah, 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 et cetera. And then they tried passing the blame onto the tracking software company, whatever it was. Because not too many places are going to build in their own like affiliate tracking system. It's just not, there's tons of other affiliate tracking, like not even Top One uses, it's not even their own. It's a different company that does specifically, I think it's Track Desk for them maybe. There's a couple of them out there. But yeah, anyways, that's what they would do. So that's how they got a ton of leads and essentially just kept them, like stole them and stopped paying affiliates. So, and that's exactly what they did to me as well. So yeah, I don't, and I brought it up to them. Like I have videos, I have proof. I even was able to convince them to turn one of those links back on that they had hidden on the back end. And in the 3-day time span that they had turned that back on, it started showing the sales again from the people that had originally clicked that link previously. So, and they were like, oh no, like, that's not how it is. And I'm like, well, here it is on the dashboard. So, and then they ended up firing the people that were running the affiliate system. So there was a guy named Connor, and I don't remember the chick's name. It's in the emails. She's the one that actually turned the system back on for me. But she got fired. So yeah, and then that's essentially they fire those people and then, oh no, like it wasn't us, blah, blah, blah type bullshit. So yeah, they're not my favorite firm. And the whole Project X and all that new stuff is also, I think, kind of shady and probably was designed that way from the start as well. So anyways, that's my rant on Top Step for the moment. You can use them if you want. I wouldn't personally. Like I said, I think there's better. I shouldn't say better. I think there's other firms. Let's just put it at that. So, but yeah. Not that anybody asked. But you got the answer. Oh, can you explain what the consistency means? Yeah, so the consistency is, yeah, pretty much fuck Top Step. Essentially, yes. And there for a while, they were like one of the only prop firms. So like think about that in like 2015, 2016, 2017. They were the only, like Apex didn't exist yet. There was like, I think One Up Trader was around. Take Profit Trader might have been around. But like Alpha Futures, Top One, Tradeify, Funded Futures Family, My Funded Futures, Funded Next. I'm just looking through my Discord list at some of the servers I'm in. None of them existed. So they kind of had the prop firm space like pretty much on lock. Like there was basically 3 companies that you could choose from back then. So like anybody that promoted a prop firm was essentially promoting Top Step. And that's how they got the size that they did. So but yeah, anyways, so the consistency rule is basically, let's say you make $10,000 in the account, Christian. If the consistency rule is say 20%, then that means that your biggest day can't be over 2,000, right? Because that would be 20% of your total profits. Let's say your biggest day is $2,500, right? Then you would then take that number and essentially multiply it by 5, which would mean you get $12,500. So if you want to get a payout and get under that 20% consistency for that top day, then you would need $12,500 or more in profits total for your account. So it's based off, the consistency is based off the biggest day. And essentially the goal, their goal with that is that you don't just come in, pick up some accounts, and then try and, run them up on a single day, like, go max size, catch a massive position, make 10, 15, 20 grand on each account or whatever the case is, and then essentially just kind of fuck off for the next few days and make 50, 100 bucks, whatever the number is, and then try and get your payout, right? It's essentially to stop the, what they call windfall type of approach. It's for more, you want a little bit more consistency. Which you're going to have some of those bigger days, right? It just, over time, it will average out. And it's not based on biggest trade necessarily, it's just based on biggest day. So if you have a $2,000 trade and then you lose $1,000, well, then your best day is $1,000. You know what I mean? So it's not based on the trade itself, it's just based on the day. But yeah, at the moment, I think those are really good deals if you're looking to get funded. And obviously the Apex deal for 69 bucks on 100Ks is also kind of unreal. So I don't know what Tradeify is doing at the moment. Let me see. Black Friday sale is live. 40% off all growth, 25 and 50K lightnings. So 40% off growth. Their sale's valid until Monday for Tradeify. So currently you got top one, Tradeify, Funded Next, Lucid, and Alpha. Just passed some more Apex today. Nice. You kind of locked and loaded on the on the prop firms. I do have a deal. Code MLT works for top one, Tradeify, and Lucid, and Apex. I don't have anything. I mean, I have a deal with Funded Next, but they don't give me a coupon code. And they changed some rules too recently, which I wasn't a huge fan of how they did that either. And I've never used Alpha. I have no idea. You'll get it. I still think dollar for dollar, in terms of payout potential, I still think Apex is the top because of the 20 accounts and essentially no payout cap on the 6th payout. So yeah, it might take you 3-4 months to get all of the other smaller payouts along the way, to then be able to get that uncapped 6th payout. But at the end of the day, if you get an uncapped 6th payout, then across 20 different accounts, it could be a pretty sizable account or pretty sizable payout. You talking about Funded Next? I'm pretty sure it was for all accounts, but I could be wrong. I just personally didn't like the communication I had with them. Like, I mean, not that I'm the biggest influencer slash creator out there or whatever, but it's like if you do have someone that's like willing to promote your product and like willing to have conversations, and then you just like shut it down, it's like, okay, like, uh, well, if that's how you treat, I guess I look at it as if that's how you're going to treat the people that are going to help promote you, then how are you going to treat the people that I send there? You know what I mean? Like, at the moment, at least, Apex is probably the slower one when it comes to support. They're also the biggest. So, like, I kind of understand that. And their staff is actually fairly decent size. So, I do understand it from that point of view. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you're just from a Tradeify perspective, support's pretty good. From a top one, the support so far, at least from my point of view, has been the fastest out of everybody. Um, so yeah, Lucid actually was pretty quick. Their system's fairly automated though, I think, um, with everything on the back. Like there's someone back there on the back end like reviewing it, but I think their systems in place are actually fairly quick. Like they had a way to at least request the coupon code changes and kind of all those things. Um, so everything was pretty streamlined on their end. So I like that. Once I finish up the top one account, I'll probably look to start doing more with them as well. But yeah, I'm kind of hoping Tradeify does another like Grand Cup thing because I do think that was pretty fun. Even though I kind of got, I don't want to say gypped. I guess I did technically break a rule somehow, but I got dinged out of it. I would do it again for sure. So that's a really good question, Christian. Is there much of a point in trading an eval slow? Like, should I just size up during the eval to pass and then trade like normal after passing? I personally think so. Um, does it create a bad habit? I don't think so. I mean, if your whole intention is to, I mean, here's the thing. Like, if you're gonna pay for an eval, right? Let's just say it's, I don't know, 80, $100 a month, whatever the number is. If you're trading a larger size, like a 250K at Trade of Eight or at Apex, it's like I think 197 bucks a month with the promos and stuff. Like first month's like 80 bucks and then it goes to 50% off on recurring. I don't think that they make a ton of money on recurring. Like I could be wrong. I just don't think that there's a ton of people that sit there and pay, 80 to 200 bucks a month to trade in an eval account because it's like 3 months in, you might as well have just fucking YOLO'd that and gotten funded and then paid the lifetime PA fee and then traded it super slow. You know what I mean? So, or gone to, to just delaying that timeline. Um, so yeah, I don't think there's a reason to trade the evals slow. It's more it's more in your favor to just go ahead and get funded, I think. Um, yeah. How long have you had that? How long have you been paying 90 bucks a month for a 50K? Like if you spent more than $300 on that, like if you've had it for more than 3 months. Okay, so you spent two. You're probably about to spend three, right? Into December. Yeah. Late October. Okay. So you just probably had a renewal or about to have a renewal. I personally don't think that there's any reason to trade those slowly. Sign up in October, just paid a renewal. Yeah, I would have. I personally would have just blown through those to get funded, and then trade that like normal. Yeah, renewal goes away. Once you're funded, there's no like you pay the PA fee, which right now is $40. And I think resets are like $79 right now or something. So you could be all in if you fail it like 3 times. You could be all in for like $300, right? Or wait for like, I mean, the 50Ks are like 90% off sales are really, really cheap. Even an 80% off sale is fine, right? Like, what are they priced at right now? Let me see. So 50K. Resets are $70. 1 day to pass is active. It's $10 lifetime PA fee on the 100K account. So yeah, I would just I would go the 100K account route. Use the 80% off. You're gonna pay $59 for it. If it takes you 3 tries to get through it, you're into a 100K funded with the PA fee for $190. You know what I mean? 60, 120, 180 plus the $10 fee, you're at 190. If you fail it twice, pass it on the third time, right? And that gets you from a risk standpoint, right? Like that's the way in which you're kind of looking at it is like, okay, if I get a 100K account here, so that's the wealth chart plan, rhythmic plan. So 100K full, your profit goal is 6,000. Your trailing drawdown, your risk is going to be 3 grand. So for essentially $200, you're at $3,000 worth of risk. You know what I mean? And it might be even less. I mean, you might pass it the first time, you might pass it the second time. Then you're in it for, $150, $130. But that gives you, it gives you a little bit more risk than this is the only drawback is that it gives you a little bit more risk, $500 more of risk than the 50K account. So from 2,500 to 3K, but the profit goal essentially doubles. So it goes from 3K to 6K. That's the only mathematically that's the only drawback on the 100K over the 50K. But from a dollar value, you still get the same risk. So, anyways, I'm gonna roll. I'm not doing anything else in this market. I think we might try and rally a little bit more here. I'm extremely happy with the overall execution. Everything. This hair is getting long. I think we got another like 3 months to try and grow it out and get it where I want it. Working on my mullet. A mullet with a beard. We'll see how it goes. NASDAQ just made new highs there. Looks like only market maybe to do so, actually. All right, I'm happy with the day. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up and call it there. Whatever we made, like 120 points on NASDAQ, 280 points on the Dow. So yeah. Anyways, I'm good with that. Back to back pretty decent days. And we'll see what tomorrow brings. The main objective is to not get in trouble before the long kind of weekend and all of those things. And let's continue to let the trades come to us. So anyways, appreciate you guys. If you need me, got any questions, obviously feel free to reach out. And there's some links down in the description if you guys want to pick up any funded accounts or any of the stuff that's down there. I don't actually know what all's down there anymore. And yeah, we'll rock with it from there. So appreciate you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Peace.